Hey, everybody, I am Ambassador Ricky Floyd, and I am excited to be with you to bring to you somebody that I know can have an impact not only on your life, but your children's and your children's life. Listen, and maybe even roll the other way, your parents and your parents' life, because he has information and knowledge that he has tried and proven for himself. And that is something that we're not doing enough, especially in this region. If you are, we don't want to limit this to the Memphis area, but one of the biggest challenges that we have in this particular region here is there's a poverty spirit. There's a lack of wealth awareness. And I'm fully persuaded that God has raised up T. Ray Greer, Pastor Greer, he happens to be a pastor, that God has raised him up at this time to bring insight, knowledge, wisdom to the common man so that they can begin to live an uncommonly successful life. I want to welcome you today. Greer, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Greer, we've been friends for a long time, and somebody like you don't get to this point without somebody investing and pouring wisdom, knowledge, and insight in their life.
Absolutely.
Who was it for you that caused you to understand the importance of finances, the importance of having a good name, good credit score, along with good work ethics and a good relationship with God?
That would be absolutely my grandfather. His name was Logan Boyd, and he was an entrepreneur. And I was born to a teenage mother at the age of 15.
Wow.
We were born in Buffalo, New York. Not the most favorable environment.
Yeah.
I was estranged from my father at a young age. And so she saw that I was headed down the wrong road if I stayed in that environment, sent me down south to live with my grandfather, and he raised me as one of his own children. And I learned from him. He was a strong Christian, a man that believed in keeping his name good. He believed in paying his bills. Just a fundamental guy that really invested a lot in his family. And he happened to be an entrepreneur.
Wow.
So I'd never seen him work for anybody.
Wow.
So I just picked up his DNA.
Yeah. And according to you, he was not an educated man, but he was a motivated man. And a man that was connected with God in such a manner that he helped establish the church in the area that you
Absolutely. My grandfather was the chairman of the trustee board at Free Missionary Baptist Church, very progressive church in the rural, and he just established a lot of protocols in terms of finances, one of the biggest givers in the church. And so I saw my grandfather literally work his way out of poverty through giving.
Yeah.
And
wow.
He gave to the church and the house of the Lord. And I saw him even sacrifice times he didn't have it. He still paid his tithe without lights being threatened to be cut off. But he was consistent, and I just learned not necessarily what he said, but I learned how to govern my life based on what he did, his actions.
Well, you just gave us one principle to wealth off the top, and so we don't have to spend a lot on that.
Absolutely.
And that is tithing. Your grandfather was not a very educated man, but he ended up being a very wealthy man because of two principles that the Bible talk about: work ethics and tithes. You just give me about 10 seconds on that and how that's played a role in your life.
Yeah, tithing, unfortunately in this generation, I think tithing become the apex of giving, but my grandfather was the foundation of giving. He was a tither just based on principle, but as he became more and more blessed, he became more and more blessed because he invested more and more in the kingdom. So he didn't wait to get promoted to start giving more. He gave more. He understood promotion would come automatically.
Wow. Well, good revelation. Listen, I have watched Greer. As a matter of fact, our first encounter that we had was him coming to me talking about doing some concrete work.
Absolutely.
And I think we were both too arrogant to close it. Neither one of us didn't have nothing, but we were arrogant. But it's amazing to me, Greer, and I heard somebody else say it, the more that we've got, the more humbler we have become.
Absolutely.
The more patient that we become, and the more that we're able to tolerate people who are arrogant like we used to be in the day. And so that's one of the keys to success, is how to have good relationship with people. Man, you've become, and again, I've seen the progression of where you've come from, what you've done. And even when you were just talking now, it helps me understand more. Greer literally travels the whole United States teaching these principles at major conferences, workshops, denomination. And Greer, now I believe I understand, and this may be revelation to you, Greer has a rural congregation, and I believe Greer the reason, because you've had offers and opportunities to go other
Absolutely.
places, but man, I believe that your loyalty toward your grandfather and what you saw your grandfather do and the impact that he had in the region of that particular is it Fayette County or
Tipton County.
Tipton County, the impact that your grandfather had, that there's a part of your DNA that is loyal and feel an obligation to bring up, not to leave, but to bring up the area that God placed you in. And
Absolutely, Ricky. That's so true. When I look at my people, I look at myself.
yeah,
I look at how I was raised.
yeah,
Great people, hardworking people. But the truth of the matter is, they just wasn't privileged to the information
yeah.
that the 3%ers in America are privileged to.
Mm.
And I knew if they could ever have an opportunity to get the information that I was giving them, they can improve their lives. And I've watched it. I've been there about 17, going to my 18th year, and I've seen generation after generation increase. They have become more aware, not just financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the foundation
Yeah.
of finances, but financial wealth
That's
literacy.
good. That's good.
So now we're changing generation, literally.
Yeah,
We
because that's good. I could touch on a lot of things, but I want to say this: Greer Financial Services and Insurance. How did Greer come from a concrete man? You've been in education. How did Greer come from a concrete man to and let me tell you, y'all, this man studies to show himself approved. I'm gonna talk about some of the 8 books that he has later. So he didn't just jump from concrete into there. Can you kind of give us a progression of how and what motivated you and inspired you? Because the concrete business in Memphis, Tennessee area is a profitable business.
very profitable, and I was very good at it.
Yeah.
You have to remember, my grandfather was in it for 40 years.
Yeah. So you inherited some business.
I inherited some business from him. I reintroduced the business with innovation, technology. So at the age of 5, I was on job sites. At 12 to 14 years old, I was running crews.
Wow.
And when I became 19, maybe 20, I had my own company. He retired. And so we had some ups and downs. We had a lot of prosperity. But what I discovered when he passed, my passion for it passed as well. Still do it occasionally just to stay in shape, so to speak. But but my passion kind of dwindled out with him, and I had to reinvent myself.
Yeah.
And I went into education because I was passionate about grooming kids for success. And I found myself in the classroom teaching them about the stock market, and I was a history teacher. And everything just gravitated towards finances. And so after that educational stint ended, I had to reinvent myself. And I did 3 things, and it's very key I mentioned this. The first thing I did was I shut down. I had my hands on a lot of different businesses and a lot of different areas. I was connected to a lot of people. I just shut completely down because I wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to reset myself career-wise. The second thing I did, I shut out. So I shut out outside voices. I shut out the influences that was directing me at the time. So I shut down and shut out to make sure I had clarity of thought, and I shut down to really make sure I had nobody influencing me from the outside within. And the last thing I did, I shut up. I shut up because I wanted to hear God speak, and I didn't want to interrupt him. And during that process, about 3 months, God really spoke to me. He carried me through the process of where I was, and I just decided that I wanted to be to people what I needed them to be for me. When I was in business, I was abused a lot. I made a lot of money. I prospered. But truth be told, what I needed from people, I didn't get it. I needed someone to cover me legally. I needed someone to cover me financially. I needed someone to cover me with insurance. And all of these things I desperately needed, I just didn't have. I was good at my trade, but I suck as a business person overall. And so failure kind of led me down the road that I'm here at. And all of those experiences now give me a unique opportunity to help businessmen get to where they want to go.
Wow, you did several things. First of all, you just got a masterminds class in 30 seconds with shut down, shut out, and shut up. That's a masterminds class right there. But I want you to hear something that he said. He talked about how he was in and he discovered his passion. Now, he was good as an educator, but that wasn't his passion. I said, whenever you find your passion, prosperity will find you. And many times your passion has been based upon your previous pain. I have a saying, that which does not kill you have to pay you. But listen, you talked about teaching stocks to the kids. Here's one of your books right here, Combining Common Stocks with Common Sense. Talk to us about that a little bit, if you will.
That book, it is exactly what it sounds like, combining common stock with common sense. The last book I put out. And what this book focuses on is how to find penny stocks, companies that are very small in their humble beginnings, and how to find these companies, how to vet them, how to really research them to see if they're really, really legitimate, and to see if there's any value in them. And if you find these companies and invest in them while they're young, when they grow prosperity-wise, your money grows with it. So imagine if you had found Walmart when they were $1.
Amazon,
Amazon,
yeah.
Netflix, the list goes on. So what I've learned, and this took a lot of time, I learned that many of the investments I made 7 years ago are now just starting to come in full fruition.
Patience,
consistency. So I invested really young in these companies. I had diamond hands. I held on to them through the rough stages, the ups and downs, all the vicissitudes of the company. And when the company finally jumped to the forefront, I reaped the benefit of it.
You reap the benefit. The reason I'm laughing so hard is because, on Cash App, they got where you can invest in some stocks.
Right.
I went on to invest in some stocks yesterday. I lost $14. I said, I'm out of here.
And
they said, that's day trading. You can't do that no more. And so he just displayed that you ain't going to make no money with impatience. With impatience in stock. You said another thing, and I really appreciate one of your books called A Common Failure with Uncommon Success. So most people don't realize if you're going to be successful, you're going to experience some failures. I think the average millionaire has filed bankruptcy 5 times.
Absolutely.
Can you talk to us the difference between a fall and a failure? Because with the business entrepreneur spirit that you've had some businesses that you've fallen in that didn't do right. I like to say it this way: the only difference between a big shot and a little shot is a big shot keeps shooting even when he ain't missing. A little shot misses a couple shots and he doesn't shoot anymore.
Right.
So talk about how failure, which is common, and here's the dangerous thing: most people don't talk about their failures. That's why I love people like you and I. We're very transparent. We tell the good, the bad, the ugly, what we did right. But talk to the people a little bit about somebody right now, Greer, who might be watching this. They tried business, they tried stocks, they tried marriage, they tried pastoring, they tried and they failed. But right now they're in a funk where they don't even want to try again. Can you talk to them what they're robbing themselves and the world of?
Absolutely. So society basically teach us that when you fail, that action becomes a part of who you are, and you can fail in life and still not be a failure. The only time you become a true failure is when you stop trying. So to debunk the belief, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is on the road to success. So what I say to a lot of people, and I've been there, I failed at so many things, and the only reason I'm successful at what I'm successful in is because I was a failure first. So my success is not predicated on what I did right. It's really predicated on what I did wrong.
You fail forward.
I fell forward a lot of times. So my face had hit the ground a lot. But again, it's about just finding trust in God. And not only finding trust in God, but this is really important. A lot of people have trust in God, but they don't have trust in themselves.
Wow.
So you got to have faith in God, and you got to have faith in yourself. That God put something in you, that he made you to survive what you're in, that tenacity.
And I want to say this: if you don't have faith and God's biblical principles, and basically this is what you're talking about: saving, sowing, targeting your money in the right directions. If you don't have faith in God's biblical principles, then you really don't have faith in God.
Absolutely.
Because he and his words, in the beginning was his word, and his word was with him. Let's talk about, and we've taken a long time to get here, but let's talk about Greer Financial Services and Insurance. What do you offer to the common man or the successful businessman out there? What are some of the services that someone can call you and they can get?
Absolutely. What we do at Greer Financial Services and Insurance, we cover the complete person. So I like to look at myself as a risk manager, and what that gives me the opportunity to do. I'm licensed in health, life insurance, property and casualty. So I can write a policy on you in terms of life insurance. We can cover you in terms of your property, cars, personal and residential. Personally, I'm licensed in Tennessee and Mississippi.
Okay.
Business-wise, I'm licensed in 40 states. Don't tell me to call the name. I forget sometimes. but we do business across the country.
Yeah,
for
there's an
businesses.
80% chance in whatever state they call, you're going to be there.
I'm going to be there for them.
All
I
right.
am ready to serve.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, we do a plethora of things. And so because I have a totality, a panoramic view of insurance, I can cover just about any need, any risk, and I have the insight to bring those customers from one platform to another in terms of covering their personal property, their businesses, whatever the case may be. I can just about get it covered.
Now, what are you able to offer in those 40 states, or what are you not? Because some people are going to be watching us from all over the world right now.
Absolutely.
What if somebody, and let's just say if California is one of your spots, what kind of services could you provide for someone in California or New York, if that's one of the states you qualify for?
Well, all over the United States, we do tax preparation, so we can handle your tax return. I'm in the business of making sure you don't give the government more than they deserve. So we only want to meet those particular requirements at that requirement and not pay a penny over.
And that is one of the strategies that the wealthy have
Absolutely.
mastered.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we can't be mad at them because they have mastered the law to work for their behalf.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And businesses, we can cover pretty much business liability, professional coverage, E&O, errors and omission, property liability, trucking, churches, nonprofit. I mean, it's a plethora of businesses, opportunities that we can cover those risks.
What do you attribute that has been the cause of your success in a very competitive industry? We see a lot of people come and go. You know, somebody be in the insurance industry today, gone tomorrow. What do you contribute to your longevity, your success, your ability to go through 40 states? And then as my mind went back, I want you to talk about that 3%ers when you get through with that. But first, I want you to talk about what has made Greer Financial a stable, successful entity in the investment and insurance industry.
Apostle is going to shock you, and I'm going to call names. I might get in trouble, but it's going to shock you. Number one, people like yourself. You brought me in to do conferences. You trusted the gift when I didn't even have credentials. You helped me home in on my gift to see that God was doing something I didn't realize he was doing. That built a lot of credibility. It built a lot of confidence in me, and it made me to pursue it on a different level. I had to give also credit to Bishop Edward Stevens, Bishop Mike Ingram, Overseer Paul Reed, Tony Peterson. Goodness.
So you get in trouble when you call
I'm
names.
in trouble.
You're going to forget the one that get offended.
But those guys back then, and still is, we were in full gospel.
And didn't know you and Tony Peterson had a good relationship.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Good
Tony
dude.
worked really, he was really close working with full gospel. And they brought me in to teach on credit repair. They brought me in to teach on finances, wealth building, investments. And it just slowly, gradually built that trust in people that they brought me in. And those people that I worked with back then are some of my customers now. They took hold of some of the principles I was teaching, and they incorporated in their lives, and they started to see the benefit of it. Dr. Eugene Gibson brought me in the church. Churches all over the nation, man, started to call me in and do workshops with them. And let me tell you, I'll give you this story.
In Tennessee, to get the other guy in Tennessee that brought you in,
Bishop Lockett, Kevin
Bishop,
Lockett, I got to give him credit too as well. But I'm gonna tell you a story, man. My phone was ringing so much. I was in education as a teacher back then, and I never missed a day of work teaching. And I was going to not California, but Chicago and Kentucky. I would leave school, Atlanta. I would leave school at like 5 and drive to these places 3 hours. 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever the case would be. The time is just to get there enough time to teach my workshop, do whatever that conference has commanded me to do in their favor, and sleep a couple of hours and wake up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and get back to work.
Les Brown says you gotta be hungry.
You gotta be hungry, man.
And Greer was hungry.
You gotta be hungry.
So hungry. Relationships, consistency, gratitude toward the people who gave you opportunities are some of the things that have made you successful.
Let me say this, Ricky.
Go ahead.
And when people talk about prosperity, unfortunately, money goes to the top of the list. But you hit it. prosperity for me is not necessarily about money.
Mhm.
It's really about relationships.
Yeah.
It's about
I say
relationships.
one of the ways that God shows me that He loves me about the relationship that He connects me with.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about this thing that a lot of our people that we serve are not really aware of. This 3%ers. Can you kind of explain to the people? You said it earlier, and that's a common language to somebody like me and you. Can you talk about the importance, the power, and the privilege of being in the 3%ers?
3% is a phrase that's used in the industry, the financial industry, to really explain and to share who make decisions in America, basically. 3% are the people that control 97% of the wealth in our country. And so
Hit repeat on that again so they can make sure they hear that.
3% of the people in America control 97% of the wealth in America.
Which means 3% of people
right,
run America.
3% run America.
Yeah.
And
that's why we need some saved folks.
Exactly.
to have money. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
These 3%ers, they hold the key to influence.
Mm-hmm.
And I have ambitions to be wealthy. I'm not quite there yet, but I have ambitions to be wealthy. Not because I want to have a lot of money, but because I want to have a lot of influence. I think I could do well in my community and serve a better way if I had the influence these 3%ers have, because they have control legislation. They have control over education. I mean, every arena you can think of, they have control. And unfortunately, the 97%, a lot of them only complain about what happened when the 3% make it happen.
Great. Greer, what is the fastest way to grow financially?
The fastest way to grow financially, good question, is the slowest way. You got to debunk the get rich quick scheme. Not saying people don't do it, but I haven't seen too many people who really got rich quick.
But it's probably a 0.02% of those who get quick and
very rarely it happens. So the slowest way, in my opinion, is number one, understand interest, how to allow your money to make money for itself. Once you understand interest, then you understand the next platform, understand compound interest, how to leave your money in a vehicle that will yield compounded interest. And let's just say, if you left your money in a vehicle for 7 years, compounded interest would more than likely double your money in 7 years, just letting it sit there. And then leverage that money to use other people's money. So this book, for example, when I invest in a penny stock company, if I got in at $1 and that company does well and other investors jump in when it's $10 and $13, now not only am I gaining return on my money, but I'm also getting return on their money because they're now fueling my financial status. So interest, compound interest, and leveraging other people's money to get where you want to go.
I had an incident a couple of weeks ago where I took a young man who part of the Husband Institute to the game with me. And I said, man, how was school today? He said, I didn't go to school. I said, what do you mean you didn't go to school? He said, I didn't have no shoes. I said, well, how you going to the game? How you got game shoes and you ain't got school shoes? And man, it was 27 degrees this night. This young man had on flip-flops. Now, to show you how out of touch I am, Greer, I took him to the store, bought some tennis shoes. I said, man, in fact, I went into the city, well, I don't want to call it a name. I said, give me some $60, $70, $80 shoes. And they did what you did right now. Man, them people literally laughed me out of the store. And I had several thoughts, just like you. I'm like, what if that was my son?
Right.
And they're laughing at me in front of my son that I can't buy him $150 shoes. So I went to another store, I upped up, I said, how about 70, 80, 90? And man, the little guy, 13-year-old guy, looked around in that store and he didn't find anything he wanted. And I had to tell him, I said, son, I don't have $150 pair of shoes. And I was prepared to buy all three of there were three brothers.
Right.
I said, son, I just can't do it. I can't do it. And then I thought about the pressure that puts on a mother who has AIDS.
Absolutely.
That she's expected to buy $150 pair of shoes for three boys who are probably going to need another pair in
Absolutely.
4 months, 4 or 3 months. You got a little boy, so you can probably tell.
I get it.
Probably going to need another pair. And I said, son, do you realize the pressure that you're putting on your mama to impress people that you won't even know 5 years from now?
Absolutely.
And so I began to explain to him that I don't have $150 shoes, but look at, I just invested $5,000 in stock.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know why I was able to invest $5,000 in stock? I said, because I don't have $150 shoes.
Absolutely.
He was at a game with, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. How can we persuade our young brothers, instead of buying $250 pair of shoes 5 times a year? And I may need you to come and teach that to the Husband Institute boys. If they take that same $250 a year at 15, and I need you to pull that strategy out,
Right.
and start investing that same money by the time they are 55. I need you to give them a breakdown
Right.
of how much money they will have by not buying $7 tennis shoes for $200.
Ricky, it's so easy for a 12-year-old to become a millionaire in this country. So easy.
I just love the sound of that.
12 years old, and they could be owners of companies.
Yes.
They could really control the direction of their generation, not just their family, but their generation. Let me give you something that I did for my son, and it'll bring clarity to America. My son already has a Roth IRA account.
At what age?
He's 8 years old. I'm already making contributions.
You know, when it's good and when it's good God, you won't say, say it again, Rev. At 8 years old.
8 years old, he already has that. And so I'm going to keep that for him. I'm not going to share it with him, but at the appropriate time, he will have.
Now, what is a start rate? That is there a maximum or minimum start rate that you can do? Because I want to do it for both of my.
It's
well,
really
I got
not.
A third one on. I want to do it for my grandbabies with you. I want to sign that up for my grandbabies.
It's really not, and that's something I'm just going to do for you, just because of our relationship. Anybody else will call. I want to make sure that's available for them.
Yeah.
But it's really not. It's based on your own ability or what your budget allow you to do. So you can just start that IRA account, get it going. Just keep contributing to it. You don't have to do it monthly or whatever the case may be, but I really advise you to. So just kind of push away the temptation to buy those Jordans and take a part of that money and put it away for them in a Roth IRA account, and they'll be set up for their generation and their children's generation. Also, I already have them in the stock market. So I have them in a fund where I pick stocks for them, and I do it every month. And when he get about 25-year-old, that account goes to him, and the benefits of that account goes with it as well.
Amen.
So he should be in pretty good shape.
You say he's 8 years old?
He's 8 years old.
Ask him, do he ask like younger women? I got a 6-year-old grandbaby. Because imagine a young man walking up to you saying, I have an IRA Roth, I've got stocks, and I got investment, and Dr. T. Ray Greer is my father. All right, where do we sign, son? If my Christina see this, she's going to beat me up for saying it. You've authored 8 books.
Right.
What was your first book, and what provoked you to get the courage and time and patience to do a book?
Yeah, my first book was The Big Spark. And The Big Spark really is not even a book, Ricky, to be honest with you. It's about 29 pages. So it's more like a manual.
It's a pamphlet.
It's just a pamphlet. I don't even know what.
But you broke into authorship with that. Okay.
Man, I broke into something that I never thought would carry me to where I am right now. Didn't have name recognition. I didn't even know what to write about, really. I just wanted to do something. I just
do it.
I just had a desire to do something. Yeah. And so what happened was when I wrote that particular book, and I was going around asking everybody, should I write it? Should I write it? Out of 100 people, 97 people said, no, don't do it, Greer.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they like this.
Watch this. What percentage?
97%.
So the 3%.
The 3% saw the big vision.
Well, there's a revelation
but
there.
But the 97% was like, don't do it. You're not going to make any money. You don't have name recognition or notoriety. Who's going to buy it? Where you going to get the material from? So, I researched, and I just took my life. And The Big Spark is really about setting fire to competition and creating a fire of profit. And so I wrote down, I think, about 100 bullet points of how to take your business and expose it to the public. And man, I put it on Amazon, and the book sold like crazy.
Wow.
People start calling, people start bringing me in to do workshops, and it was just crazy. I knew then I had to do something else because I had a tribe to honor.
What's next? Yeah.
So that's kind of what sparked it.
What's been your best-selling book?
The best-selling book is Wealth Explosion.
Okay.
How to make money for you. And so Wealth Explosion did pretty good in the United States, But somewhere along the way, people in London got it. And when they got a hold of it,
wait a minute, you telling me a
crazy.
brother from Tipton County
Right.
that was a construction worker
Right.
now has books over in London?
It was crazy, man. When they got a hold of it, they ate it up. And to be honest with you, I was sitting at the house one day. I talked to you that day, to be honest. I was sitting at the house and I got my royalty check. And
I remember that.
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah.
And I opened it up and it was such a large amount. I said, man, somebody made a mistake.
I remember that.
You remember that? Somebody made a mistake. And so I went to the account.
Yeah.
And I was
those
trying to
97 people that told you not to write the book, that's who made the mistake.
That's who made the mistake.
Right.
And it was like they were actually buying the book overseas. And I knew then, I think it's like my fourth book.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, and this is passive income for generation.
Come on.
Because when I'm dead and gone, my son will still get the proceeds from these books.
Amen. So listen, are you self-published or someone published your books for you? And if someone out there who has a desire to be an author and they've had 97 people to tell them no, are you available? Because you got a schedule. Are you available?
Absolutely.
Greer, how do they contact you for books? We've only got about 5 minutes left in this, cool. I think. How do they contact you if they want you to help them publish a book? If they need insurance, if they want to buy some of the books that you have, which it's hard for you to keep on the shelf right now because they're selling so quick. Give us a contact. How do they contact? Give us an email address that you have. Give us some of your social media platforms, and if there's a phone number that you have available that you can give it to them, and repeat all of those at least 2 times so the people that's trying to find an ink pen right now, they'll be ready for you, or type it in their phone. Go ahead.
Well, I make it simple. On the books, all of my books are on the platform Amazon. They're in 3 different formats. You can get it, of course, paperback, Kindle, as well as audiobooks. So just go to Amazon, type my name, T. Ray Greer, into search, and all my books should come up for you, no problem. My phone number is 901-286-8875. Again, that number is 901-286-8875. And feel free to give me a call. I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you. And I would like to direct you to my website for whatever services or whatever needs you may have. And that website is www.greerfinancialservices.org. Again, www.greerfinancialservices.org. And you can send me an email directly through that website, and it will definitely get to me.
Greer, I want to close talking about a very tender subject. Once we were I was at a conference, there were 50 pastors there. And the question was asked, whose church provide them with insurance? Out of the 50 pastors, Sheila and I were the only ones who raised our hand. And the amount that we had was really shameful that we were getting from the church. In wealthy communities, death is a wealth transfer.
Right.
In poor communities, death, in too many cases, ends up being additional debt.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about how important it is to get some insurance?
Absolutely. And that's something very dear and close to my heart. Life insurance is just that, life insurance. Too many times our community look at life insurance as death insurance. And what I mean by that is,
man, just hold on. That's you see stuff that's common to you'll roll on by that.
Yeah.
Life insurance. It didn't say death insurance.
Not death insurance.
It says life insurance. The dead don't need no insurance.
Have no use
for it. The insurance is for the living.
Absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
Go ahead.
So with that being said, I try to educate people as much as possible. I have a grassroots campaign. I try to go into many churches as I possibly can. Salem Baptist Church is a small church, but we're small, and that's all. When I went to Salem Baptist Church, first thing they wanted to know, Pastor, you want a raise? You want a car? I said, no, I want life insurance.
Wow.
I want life insurance. I'm not going to say the amount, but they saw the vision. They put life insurance on me, and I use it for a vehicle as my retirement, or if I need anything, I can put out the life insurance. So when I say that, of course, it have a death benefit. That's what most of us use life insurance for. However, life insurance also can be used in life You can use it to build cash value. And over the course of time, that cash value will be generating money for you that you can pull out at any given time. You don't have to file an application. You don't have to ask permission. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call, say, hey, how much I have in it. I want to borrow against my life insurance policy.
So you gave me a whole nother spring. When you said life insurance, I was thinking about money left for the living. But what you're telling us is that you don't have to be dead to benefit from your insurance policy.
Absolutely not. I'll give you an example. The owners of J.C. Penney's back during the Great Depression. The country went down, stock market crashed. The business was about to be carried to hell in a handbasket. What he did was he called his life insurance carriers and asked for a loan against his policy.
Wow.
He did it twice. He went to 2 different carriers. He had 2 different policies for sure. We don't know how many, but we know he had at least 2 different life insurance. He got the money. He financed his own recovery. Everybody else's business tanked during the recession. He came out.
So you're telling us that J.C. Penney is still in existence because of a life insurance policy.
Life insurance.
And nobody died.
Nobody died.
Wow.
Walt Disney, the same thing.
Wow.
So what I just try to teach people is how to use their money, their life, to benefit them right now. So what I call it is BYOB. Bring your own bank.
Wow.
And your life insurance policy is your bank. Forget traditional banking. Pull your money out the bank as much as possible. We got to come back and do a segment on that. But,
I agree.
But get rid of the bank, man. I would leave 6 months in the bank at best. But all that money you have in the bank, you're wasting it. If you ask me, can I borrow some money from you, Greer? And I say, sure. I'm going to charge you 1% interest. Then I come back and ask you, can I borrow some money from you? And you say, I'm going to charge you 8% interest. One of us going to fight.
Yeah, we ain't friends.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
It's disproportionate.
Yeah.
The banks do it to us every day, and we still be friends with the bank.
Yeah.
Become your own bank. Put money in a policy. Let that money build up interest and compound interest, and you'll be surprised how much money you'll have for your own business, to buy your own house, to fuel your own retirement. I do it every day.
Greer, somebody's out there. They see what you're saying now. They were given this information early. They didn't take advantage of it. They're 60 years old now.
Not too late.
They got high blood pressure.
Not too late.
They overweight.
I can get them insured.
You might want to give your number.
Absolutely.
Again.
And I understand you probably got denied for insurance policy because they could not insure. And I specialize in insurance. I have over 20 carriers that will help me get people insured. So high blood pressure is not a problem. I just insured a lady who had open heart surgery 10 years ago.
Wow.
Couldn't get insured. We got her insured. So trust you me. 901-286-8875. Nothing fails but a try.
Wow. So I think we have gotten some answers to your financial challenges, some answers to your problems. And here's what I want to say. If you grab hold to this knowledge, this man is studied to show himself approved. If you grab hold to this knowledge, this wisdom, these principles that he's sharing with us, you will be able to position your children's children for wealth. And that's what the Bible says. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. At 8 years old, Greer has positioned his son, who don't even have a son yet, to be a blessing to his son. Any final wisdom that you want to share with the people?
Just to reiterate what I just said, it is never too late. I don't care where you are right now, what point you are in life, what stage you're in. It's never too late to get started. Listen, make the decision today to change your life financially. And there are so many people, even beyond me, that can help you out here. Just be bold and have faith and trust God. You're looking at a person really who, when I wrote this book, I was depressed. I mean, I was literally depressed. I looked over my life and saw all my failures, and I started to get depressed to the point where I couldn't even get out of bed. And God says, write everything you're experiencing down. Write the pain, write the hurt, write the failures, write it down. And when you finish writing it down, get ready to have a success party, because I'm getting ready to bring you out, because it's going to be a blessing to the people to share where you were and where you are now.
Which leads to something that I said earlier, and I'll say it again. If it don't kill you, it's got to pay you.
Absolutely.
The pain that tried to destroy him is now the same pain that he connected with purpose that is now causing his prosperity to come for him and his children's children. Listen, this has been a great show. I agree with you. We got to do something again real soon. And listen, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Listen, y'all share this, because what we have a responsibility to bringing awakening of wealth consciousness. Listen, and I'm starting a whole new church in April.
Wow.
That's going to strictly deal with this. It's not going to be a pursuit of God. It's called the Up Church. We're dealing with wealth conscious. And I used to say this, Greer. I made the mistake in time past of saying, we're going to fight the spirit of poverty. I found out, Greer, poverty fights back.
It does.
Transmission starting. No, we ain't fighting the spirit of poverty. We're causing an awakening of wealth consciousness and the responsibility that the believer has. Matter of fact, there's a scripture that says, and he became poor so that we could become rich. So that we could become rich. So listen, Greer, trust me, you're going to be at that Uptown campus of so much that they're going to think you the pastor over there.
Appreciate it.
And so again, listen, we're going to tune out, share this with somebody, invite some people, tag this and send this to some people. Watch this, because if you can get this revelation at 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and even Greer told us now even at 60, it's going to impact your life. Listen, be blessed. We speak wealth, prosperity, love, health, holiness, and happiness over your life. Have a wonderful day and a prosperous life.
God bless you.